Yesterday we calculated z-scores, and we used them to look at what were the percentages above and below certain standard deviations. But what happens about the x values that are not right on a first or a second or a third standard deviations? What if they're in the middle somewhere? That's what we're going to do today. So what we do is we sketch the normal model, we shade the area we're looking for, we find the z-scores, so it would be how many students have an IQ greater than 72, what percent of students. So we find the z-score for 72, and then we use a new function on our calculator, normal CDF. You get there by hitting the second button, the vars button, and the normal CDF button, and putting in two values. So the two values we're going to put in are either z left, z right, two z-scores. So I want to know between these two z-scores, what percent of students have an IQ between this and this. If I want to know greater than a certain z-score, I put in a left z-score and 99. For greater, less, z left 99, and for less than a certain z-score, I put in negative 99 and then a right z-score. So this will be clearer as we do it. So IQ scores are normally distributed with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 16. So let's draw it. We know how to do this. So we draw. Yeah, mine never turns out perfect, but that's okay. So we have a mean of 100 with a standard deviation of 16. So we've got 116, 132, 148, and then we're going to have 84, and 84 minus 16 is 68, and then we're going to have 50. Okay. Oh, 52. Okay. So, 1, sketch the normal model. Shade the area indicated. Well, the question says approximately what percent, and that tells you that this is what we're doing, of people have between 80 and 95 IQ scores. So let's highlight that. Well, an 85 would be right here, right? It's not on one of the standard deviations, and 95 is going to be right here. So let's shade it in. We want to know what percentage of people have that IQ. So let's look what we do next. Find the z-score. So let's find the z-score, the z left, which is the z-score of 80 IQ. So we do that by saying we have the score we're checking is 80. So yeah, 80 minus the mean divided by the standard deviation, which is 16. So let's get that on our calculator. Right, that's x minus the mean over the standard deviation. 80 minus 100 divided by 16. We do that on our calculator and we get, oops, I didn't get the right answer. Negative 20 divided by 16 is negative 1.25. So that is negative 1.25. That's the z-score of 80 IQ. Now let's figure out the other one. The z-score of the right, on the right, or 95, is 95 minus 100 over 16. So we can do that in our calculator. Let's do negative 5 divided by 16. And we get, because 95 minus 100 is negative 5, equals negative 0.3125. Okay, so we have to do one more step. The next step is we're going to use the normal CDF function on our calculator. So let's hit second vars normal CDF, that's one down, and let's put in our lower score. Our lower score is negative 1.25. Okay, our upper score is our z right, negative 0.3125. Now we just hit enter, 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 enter. And we get a normal CDF of 0.271. Okay, so we do the normal, let's see what we just did. The normal CDF of negative 1.25 and negative 0.3125, and we get 0.271, which we have to write as a percent. So we write that as 27.1%. It would be fine to just say 27%. So 27% of people have between IQ scores between 80 and 95. Let's do another one. Approximately what percent of people have IQ scores greater than 125? So draw your normal curve. We're going to have the same values. Now, so let's just draw the right of it. 116, 132, and 148. Now, we want one greater than 125. Well, 125 is right about here. We don't know exactly, well, it's right about there. And we want to know what percent of scores are in this area. So we only need one z-score. We need the z-score for an IQ score of 125. And this is going to be a left z-score. And we're going to say, okay, that's going to be the value, 125, minus the mean over the standard deviation. So 25 divided by 16 is 1.56. What we're then going to do is use our normal CDF function, but because we want the greater, we're going to start with the left z-score. We call this a left z-score, 1.56, and then we're going to put positive 99 in as a value. Okay, so let's do it. Second, vars is right here next to clear, down to, we want lower is 1.56, enter, upper is going to be positive 99, enter, 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 and we get 0.059, which we write as a percent, so it's 5.9%. You could also round that up to 6%, that would be fine. So approximately 6% of people have IQ scores above 125, not many. Okay, so let's do one more. Okay, what percent of people have IQ scores less than 90? Okay, so we draw our curve. We've got the mean value there. 1, 2, 3. We've got 84, 68, 52, less than 90. Well, 90 is about right here. So how many people? Okay, well, find a z-score. The z-score for 90 is the value minus the mean over the standard deviation, and that's going to be negative 10 over 16. On your calculator, that is negative 0.625. So we're going to calculate the normal CDF of, we want a less than. So our first value is negative 99. Then we put our z right. So that's going to be negative 0.625. Okay? Well, let's do that. Second, vars. We want negative 99. And then negative 0.625. Enter, 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 enter. We get 0.265, which is 0.265, which is 26.5%. We could say 27 if you round up. That's fine. Okay. So let's draw our three scenarios. Okay? So I want you to draw 1, 2, 3, 3 normal curves. You can draw better than me, I hope. So here we go. Best as we can. And now we want to say, all right, if we're doing in between, we're going to have a z left and a z right. And we're going to do a normal CDF with the two values, z left, z right. That's what we do. If the question says what is greater than a certain value, we're going to have a value. We're going to call it, you can call it z or z left if you like. And then we're going to sketch in the rest of the curve. And then we're going to say, red and blue, normal CDF. Here we have the z-score and then positive 99 because it's greater. And then if we want less, we have a certain z-score. We could call it z-right or just z. And then we want to find out what percent of people are less than that. So it's normal CDF negative 99 the z-score. Okay? All right. Let's do one more problem together. So I'll let you look at that just so you can get that. Remember, you can always stop the tape. All right. Well, why don't you do all three of these problems and come in and check them in class tomorrow. Okay? All right. See you tomorrow.